I'm Sandra Parker. There's really only one choice. The Buddhists identified it a long time ago, and it's love or fear. The Buddhists talk about one choice. There's one choice. There's one choice that you get to make. It's love or fear. Breathe in, love or fear. Breathe out, love or fear. I remember when I read about that and I thought, that's so much the walk that I'm walking. That's so what I live. From a psychological, psychodynamic perspective, the parallel is that when we live with love, we are approaching the difficult experience of what it means to be human, the vulnerability and the emotion of being human. And that's painful. And the urge is to move away. The urge is to avoid. The urge, in psychological terms, is to defend against the experience. And we have a lot of ways of defending. Right? In adulthood, we can do all sorts of things to move away from our experiences. Eat and drink and shop and busy ourselves and worry and work and distract and all sorts of stuff. And that's fear. That's moving away. And what the Buddhists say is that you can choose pain or you can choose suffering. I love it. It's so clean. It's so simple. Love or fear, pain or suffering. It's so great. Okay, love or fear sounds like one of those feels better than the other. Pain or suffering, they both sound crappy. But the fact is, there's a big difference between pain and suffering. Pain happens when we approach the truth, both in Buddhist thought and both from a psychodynamic perspective. When we approach the truth, there's pain. Even if it's the truth of falling in love. Even if it's the truth of excitement about my new job, even if it's the truth about my new puppy dog, even if it's the truth of something happy, it feels like your heart's going to break sometimes. It hurts. And of course, the other more difficult emotions, it's easier to understand that they're painful. The wonderful thing about feeling the pain of emotion is that it is actually life-affirming and growth-promoting. It actually brings us closer to who we are and takes us to the next place we're meant to be. So there is a purpose, and importantly, it's time limited. The wave goes up and the wave comes down. Now, conversely, suffering, interestingly, is everything that we do to not feel pain. That's a Buddhist definition. Everything we do to not feel pain, the truth, is suffering. And when I read that, I thought, oh, psychodynamic perspective, that's everything that people come in the door with. It's all their defenses. It's everything they do to not feel pain, right? And they come in my door, right? Numb with depression, panicky. Having been, prescribed various medications for this or that physical ailment or this or that emotional state. Suffering. But it's unending. While suffering never reaches the excruciating peak of what pain will hit, it stays down below, 10, 20, 30% below that. It runs chronic forever, unchanging. So the payoff is I never have to feel the worst of it, but I never am free. It's a pretty high price to pay for something that, as it turns out, if we allow ourselves to regulate the anxiety, it's actually time-limited and growth-promoting. Right? So, in the choice between pain and suffering, I can really, really, really see that although it's difficult to do that hard thing, to take the deep breath and approach what's uncomfortable, the fact is, that is the choice. That is the love over fear. That is the loving choice. And it's the fearful choice to suffer, to defend, to move away from what's true, to move away from the pain of the truth of what it means to be a vulnerable human being in a body with things we long for and things we can't make happen.